Where's Diane? Bob here?
Behind.
Okay, great.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sensitive to that.
Democrats and Republicans agree on one thing. Our immigration system is broken and needs to be fixed. What I say to my Republican colleagues, work with us to fix this broken system and secure our borders and do the other things that we have to do. Don't just say no. We agree the system is broken, so let's work together to fix it in a bipartisan way. I'm joined here with a number of my Democratic colleagues who worked on this issue for many, many years. This framework is based on the bipartisan negotiations that our colleague, Senator Schumer, has been engaged in for months. And those negotiations have been built on the bipartisan work of our Senate colleagues in previous years. And, of course, the work of Senator Kennedy, who was chair of this subcommittee that Senator Schumer now chairs for decades. And we recognize his input in everything that we do on this issue. We're offering this framework as an invitation to our Republican colleagues to work with us to solve this problem that has plagued our country for too long. This proposal will do a number of things. Of course, it will take care of our northern and southern borders, require those who are here illegally to register with the government, pay taxes, learn English, stay out of trouble, and even then, they go way to the back of the line. They don't move up ahead of anyone else. It reforms America's legal immigration system to maximize American economic prosperity. It will impose tough sanctions on employers who break the law. In Arizona, they passed a very draconian law on immigration because they're upset the federal government is not acting. In Nevada, the Republican governor of Nevada sent a letter to President Obama calling for action, federal action on immigration. Well, I find the position of the Republicans in Arizona and in Nevada who say the problem is one of the federal governments to now say we're not going to let you work on it. That's why we're here this afternoon inviting them to help us work on this issue. Take a look at our proposal, I say to my Republican friends, and I don't direct this to Lindsey Graham only. There are 40 other Republicans. Take a look at this proposal, which is a good faith effort to move forward. We say, come and talk with us. Work with us. You say the problem's broken. We say the problem's broken. Let's work together and fix it. Senator Durbin.
Thanks, Senator Reid. We come today to discuss this issue of immigration, facing the reality of a broken immigration system in America, facing the reality of a controversial law in Arizona, which is going to be challenged as to whether it meets the most basic and fundamental tests under our Constitution and tests of fairness. And we come here with the reality that we know it's our obligation to act and move forward. Senator Schumer has helped us move to this moment, establishing a framework for a bill that will bring about comprehensive immigration reform. All eyes are focused on Arizona at this moment. They're focused on the law enforcement officials in Arizona who are charged with implementing and enforcing their new law. It's worth quoting what the Arizona Association of the Chiefs of Police have said. Quote, "We strongly urge the U.S. Congress to immediately initiate the necessary steps to begin the process of comprehensively addressing the immigration issue to provide solutions that are fair, logical, and equitable." A quote from the law enforcement in Arizona. Not just an invitation to Congress, but a challenge to Congress to rise to the occasion and to pass comprehensive immigration reform. I couldn't agree more. We need a comprehensive approach that is tough, fair, and practical. We need to secure our borders, crack down on employers who hire illegal immigrants, and require those who came here illegally to register with the government, learn English, pay back their taxes and any fines owed before they can go to the back of the line to work towards becoming tax-paying American citizens. Failure to take up immigration reform will mean that our broken system and ineffective laws will continue to weaken our national security, hurt our workers, and fall short of the most basic standard of justice. I want to say a word about a provision in this framework that means an awful lot to me and to some in this room. I feel a special obligation to the children who were brought to this country and grew up as Americans but are prevented from pursuing their dreams under our current immigration law. These young people are the reason that I introduced the DREAM Act 9 years ago. 9 years ago in 2001. Senator Dick Lugar, a Republican from Indiana, is my co-sponsor, and I want to thank him from the bottom of my heart for stepping up and showing the courage to help me lead on this important issue. Yesterday, I met with 4 young people who would qualify for the DREAM Act. They walked all the way from Miami, Florida to Washington, D.C., 1,500 miles in order to bring attention to the situation of undocumented immigrant students and the DREAM Act. We owe it to these children. We owe it to the people of Arizona and Illinois. We owe it to all Americans to pass comprehensive immigration reform legislation that will fix our broken immigration system. We are inviting our Republican colleagues from states like Arizona, where the law enforcement officials have invited them to join us in this effort, to step forward, show the political courage to join us and work with us to pass comprehensive immigration reform this year.
Thank you, and I want to thank all of my colleagues for joining us in submitting this bill for comprehensive reform. Now, for the past several weeks, pundits and columnists, reporters have almost all been saying that the prospects for comprehensive immigration reform look bleak. I completely disagree. If I did not believe we could accomplish immigration reform, I never would have chosen to accept the Immigration Subcommittee chairmanship. Committees of inaction and legislative backwaters are not places in which I thrive. Please. People ask me all the time, why are you doing this? Why did you take on this assignment? I tell them because the urgency for immigration reform cannot be overstated because it is so long overdue. Our immigration system is badly broken. The broken system has produced dysfunctional outcomes for millions of people and for this entire country and our economy. It has created an unsustainable situation where thousands of people cross our southern border illegally each day, while at the same time we continue to see shortages in much-needed occupations like doctors and engineers and agricultural workers. And on the flip side, the fact that we do not have a good, strong federal immigration law has now engendered a disproportional and counterproductive response in Arizona, which has passed a new law that is both ineffective and wrong-hearted. That is why we must act now, as soon as possible, to repair our broken immigration system. The American people have been clear. Americans overwhelmingly oppose illegal immigration and support legal immigration, and that's what our proposal does. Americans know that throughout our history, immigrants have contributed to making this country more vibrant and economically dynamic. Once it is clear that in 20 years our nation will not again confront the specter of another 11 million people coming here illegally, Americans will embrace more welcoming immigration policies. That's a tenet of our bill. Opponents of immigration reform reflectively say, secure the border first, and then we can talk about what to do about the people already here. That's a talking point, not a serious policy proposal. That will not improve the situation in Arizona or anywhere else. Our framework is fix the border first, but don't just fix the border. Our bill, our framework is a fix the border first bill. It is not a fix the border only bill. We clearly and unambiguously say to the American people, our proposal will require the government to secure the border first before we adjust the status of a single person who's here illegally. Just what many of our colleagues on the other side of the aisle are saying.